With Nintendo Switch being one of the world's most successful consoles, it's interesting to see Sega Ages potentially bringing one of the world's shortest living consoles to the hybrid. Dreamcast games would be absolutely awesome on the Switch, and that's why we've picked our favorite 5 Dreamcast games we want to see hit Sega Ages and hit Nintendo Switch. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. Gabe is here, and this is most likely happening. The producer of Sega Ages, which is the new platform/program that's bringing Genesis, Master System, and eventually Saturn and Dreamcast games to the platform, said that, hey, he wants to do this, and as long as there's continued support, they will continue to go through the catalogs, through the years, and eventually evolve into their latest console, their shortest lived console, but one that still had a lot of good games. And so we're going to kick this list off, Gabe, with a Dreamcast classic, Choo Choo Rocket. It is a puzzle extravaganza. It is a multiplayer madness fest. I think it fits in perfectly alongside the likes of games like Towerfall, Astro Bears Party. It would be super fun as a Joy-Con multiplayer mayhem title on Switch.
Another thing I want to do for these games, we didn't even talk about this, but what do you think is the likelihood of Choo Choo Rocket coming? We'll also talk about that, but this is the only game on the list that I didn't play, but you absolutely love it, and that's why it makes the list. You swear it's a really great time. Do you think that this comes at all when this eventually happens?
I think it's a very likely candidate, specifically because it's a Sonic Team game, so it seems like it would be a very easy and very obvious choice. It did have a lot of sort of cult love when it came out. It's very cute and clever, and it kind of has like that Switch looking vibe. We obviously have a ton of grid-based multiplayer games already on Switch, but this one is different. It does bring its own sort of insanity to the table. It does have some single-player offering. You can create your own stages, but the multiplayer is where it's at, and I remember battling it out with my good friend up in Michigan when I was younger, when we both had Dreamcast, and we were both just amazed by this new system full of weird-shaped controllers, VMUs, and mice running away from very angry cats.
Hey, I love running away from angry cats. Shout out to Raylan.
Next up, Gabe, is a game that This is, again, your destiny. Power Stone 1+2 from the Dreamcast era would be another phenomenal choice for the Switch.
Yeah, at that time, this was like my favorite fighting game. For anybody unfamiliar with Power Stone, it's a 3D fighter where like the objective is to get these, Power Stones. There's 3 of them total, and then that like transforms you into this like sort of like ultimate Smash version of yourself. There's like one character like looks like the Thing from Fantastic Four. I remember Falcon kind of looks like this very like high-tech superhero. He can like fly around and like shoot rockets. It's very, very cool, and this game was just so much fun. The sequel added more characters, and like one of my favorite things about this game was the fact that there was like all this environmental interaction, right? If there's a pole on the middle of like the arena, you can like do like weird attacks with the pole. You can throw barrels at each other. It's all about like chasing each other down, hitting each other as much as you can while also trying to get the Power Stone. This game I had a ton of fun with.
Yeah, and there's a plethora of great fighting titles on Dreamcast. This is one of the cream of the crop, and it would be a great addition to Switch. It kind of fills the same void/genre as Super Smash Bros., but Capcom seems to have a lot of love for the Switch, so I'm sure Sega and the folks over at Capcom could work something out to bring this to the platform.
That would be great.
Another game that could easily and most probably will come once Dreamcast does hit is Sonic Adventure. Now, you may like 1 with the big whale, and you may like 2 with Shadow and all of the crazy characters. I personally fall in favor of the latter. Gabe, I think you fall in favor of the former, but inevitably, I think as long as some catastrophe doesn't happen, we probably get both Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 on Switch.
Yeah, if this happens, these are probably the first games that are going to be like released. Sonic Adventure was like so fun back in the day, right? Like now if you look back at it, it's probably like not that great, although I do still hold a very special place in my heart for it. I wonder how the games hold up, but just like seeing like the graphical prowess of the Dreamcast and having that first level in Sonic Adventure where you mentioned the whale jumping and you're like going through like that beach area, like it was crazy to me, and that would definitely like scratch a nostalgic itch.
Yeah, I really like Sonic Adventure 2 back in the day. I played the battle version on GameCube. Me and Jake were all about that action. Again, in nostalgic vision, it seems super fun and alluring at the time. Maybe playing it again, kind of you're like, but I do feel like of anything is coming from the Dreamcast, Sega's titular character would be the one to go for. But I would much rather see Marvel vs. Capcom 1 or 2 hit the platform. We're eagerly anticipating Smash. We're eagerly anticipating Pocket Rumble. We've got a couple fighters in the form of Brawlout and a few others. But bringing the Dreamcast stable of awesome fighting games would be such a great get for Switch. I really love Marvel vs. Capcom, the series, the franchise. Infinite, didn't seem to grab as many people as maybe they would have liked, but the original games, they are very awesome.
Yeah, 1 and 2. 3 was even really good too, but not on Dreamcast. I do wonder though, because it's going to be the same situation with Power Stone, right? These are not Sega-made games. This is a Capcom joint that was on Dreamcast. I wonder if they can still figure that out. And then I wonder how the licensing goes, with just Marvel being where they are now in video games. They're being extremely careful about who handles their stuff as far as video games now. We have the Spider-Man PlayStation 4 game coming. We have the Square Enix Avengers game coming. Beyond that, not too much happening in the console space. But yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom is something that I absolutely love, Zach. Even when I was 17 or 18, there was this pizza place that was a half-hour drive away from me. Me and my friends would go every single Friday, first of all, because the pizza was good, but because they were one of the last places that still had working arcade cabinets there, and I would just destroy people in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That was my jam.
My Marvel vs. Capcom anecdote is that when I first got Marvel vs. Capcom 1, my mom was very wary of having Jake play as Venom because he seemed so vicious and angry. So we had a house rule that we couldn't play as Venom. All right. That's my Marvel vs. Capcom experience. The last game on our list, and again, it falls in the category of not only a fighter, but one that hey, we'd have to cross our fingers and hope that they could make something work. But that would be bringing the original Soul Calibur to the Switch. Again, such a great console for the genre, and this is where that franchise started. Sadly, it doesn't look like we're getting the newest iteration of Soul Calibur. Maybe we could get the first iteration of Soul Calibur.
Yeah, this is another one of those games that was just so beautiful for the time that we hadn't seen too much like that. Of course, there were 3D fighting games before. I don't think that was the first one by any means, but just seeing it realized in this manner was very, very cool. The now entering the what's the phrase there? Now entering the stage of what? Do you remember that?
Oh, God.
Stage of victory is what I want to say, but I don't. It's been so long. I haven't played Soul Calibur since probably the GameCube days, if I'm honest. So, such an awesome game as well. A lot of fighting games on our list here.
Yeah, that seems to be where it's at. It's Bandai Namco, so they seem to like Nintendo, and maybe since they're not. It's the stage of history, by the way.
Stage of history. There you go.
Since they're not giving us 6, maybe they can give us 1. It'll be interesting to see how Sega Ages develops. Is it only going to be a few hand-picked titles from these platforms, specifically by Sega? Are they going to open it up and bring the classics and the cult favorites from each console? Will they actually get to Dreamcast? It sure seems like it. This seems to be an initiative that they're pushing for. And if Neo Geo Arcade Archives are any indication, they pump them out. So hopefully we can get a lot of these again. Utilizing the Switch as a place for nostalgic gaming is, to me, great. And unfortunately, it's not happening as of yet with Nintendo's own library. But if it can happen with Neo Geo and Genesis and Saturn and Dreamcast, that's still pretty darn cool. So let us know in the comments down below, my friends, what Dreamcast game you would want on Switch. Our list is Choo Choo Rocket, Power Stone, Sonic Adventure, Marvel vs. Capcom, and Soul Calibur, but let us know yours in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch and Sega Ages. We'll keep you posted as we near that summer release date. In the meantime, and just to clarify, because I've seen this around the internet, Sega Ages is a program, not a cartridge. So the games are going to be released individually through this program called Sega Ages. Just a small point of clarification. But follow us on Twitter and Discord. We'll inevitably clarify more things if you want to know. There's links in the description below. And until next time, for myself and Gabe, thanks so much for watching. Fantastic day. Switch Force out.